Welcome to the Everyday Game Changers podcast. You will hear from everyday people in business, music, community, and more who are changing the game. And now your host, marketing expert, and personal branding specialist, Barion McQueen.
Welcome to another episode of the Everyday Game Changers podcast. I am your host, Barion McQueen, and you know how we do, man. We talking to everyday people changing the game in music, business, community, and more. And today's guest, if you can see all this product on display, he takes branding, music, entrepreneurship to the next level. My homie Dashius Clay in the building. How are you?
I'm fucking amazing, man. I'm blessed, and to have a setup like this to walk into makes me feel 10 times more blessed. I feel appreciated. You know what it is? That's the word.
That's it.
I feel appreciated right now.
Well, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
And this is just a personal touch I like.
Listen, but it's a personal touch that lets me know that I'm appreciated.
There you go, man. So talk to me about why we have all of this stuff. Why it's out?
Because you asked me what would make me smile, and you was like, usually people are like, what would make you smile? Would you like some kind of alcohol? Would you like blah, blah, blah? And I'm always like, I think just a cold Coca-Cola will suffice.
And I used to remember seeing you on social media like, with a Coke a day.
And then listen, but there's so many people that I have in my life that I'm grateful for that they do things like this.
Right.
And like I said, it's so funny to me, but I just feel like it just goes to show A, the appreciation, and B, like the respect, and even C, like the fact that they're like, yo, I know that if I can have him happy, I'm going to get the best results.
100%.
So it's like, I'm like, yo, man, I'm a cheap date. Pay me a Coke and gum.
That's it. So like, it's been 6 years since we chopped it up. So a lot's fucking happened.
It feels like a whole world has changed.
100%.
And life has just gone completely just into 20 different directions.
Yeah. So the thing I like about you is like, I meet with a lot of artists, run across a lot of artists, but the branding aspect that I feel every artist does not hit the mark. And you've been hitting the mark for a really long time.
It's easy for me.
So our first interview used to be about the red beard.
Yeah.
And then it just went a whole nother level.
Because the red beard at first was like a scream for attention in the sense of like I wanted to just like, at that point I was like, I think we even spoke about the first time that it was like, it was such a self-expression reflection for me that I was like, I don't feel like I look how I feel. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to like really project that I was like, I feel crazier than I look.
Got it.
And so I started with the beard, and then I moved on with the piercings and the tats and everything, and little by little, like that's how I feel comfortable with myself, right? And then like the branding of it, I think was more my fans that started really running with it, because it was never initially a thing of like, I'm gonna do the red beard and I'm gonna be the red beard guy.
Yeah.
Like that was never my intention at all. Right. It was for myself. And then like slowly and progressively, people started drawing beards and doing beard things, and then calling me Red Baron, and
that's crazy.
And then giving me things that were red, and like
it just took its own.
So it really took a life of its own. And branding, although albeit I'm great at branding,
right,
I won't take the full credit of the organicness of it, because a lot of what I do is really at this point just so organically emphasized.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I like sneakers, so like I'm gonna create my own sneakers. Right. I'm gonna make them red. I like clothes, like, and I'm just kind of just bouncing things off that I love and like people expect.
So it's normal for you.
So it really is.
Like I would do this anyway.
Yes, exactly. If I wasn't a rapper and it was for myself, I'd probably still be this way and buy the same things.
That's dope.
But now I just buy those things and sell them. You know what I'm saying?
But I think that's what makes, I don't want to say people buy into the brand, but I always tell people fall in love with the person before they fall in love with the logo. Facts. So like you as the person, this is an easy call for people because it's a genuine connection you got with the fans.
It allows me to be transparent.
100%.
Like I always talk to like certain friends about this when they ask me like how I'd get to certain points, and I'm like, when I started in this, there was my best friend had told me, listen, man, you're a genius, and I feel like sometimes you're embarrassed about it. And I would be like, what? And he was like, I just want to say this to you. Every genius has their tick. And when I mean tick, I mean like they're a little bit crazy. Let your tick show.
Right.
And from that moment forward,
That's dope.
I've progressively gotten more like confident in my tick.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? So like it's just it all.
That's crazy. So when I see like the music, by far I'm a rap fan. So when I hear Miami artists, I don't hear what I hear when I hear Dashius Clay. It's like I get bars, I get vibes, we just played New Religion all the way through, bro. We didn't skip a record. And I'm just like, damn, but why ain't nobody doing this type of music? Do you feel that's missing, like the hip hop element of?
I've always been such a broad picture type of person.
Right.
First, and secondly, my upbringing was just surrounded by so many different kinds of music that I fell in love with and didn't have to stick with. Like I didn't have to love rap only. I loved everything. I loved rock. I loved pop. I loved R&B. I loved house music. Like my family was into house music. My other family was into classical music. My upbringing and my friends were all listening to hip hop. Oh. MTV was on, so I had rock. So like these are all things that like influenced me. And like I've never really been affected by like my surroundings in a sense of like Miami and like not to insult local culture, but like I really don't listen to local artists.
Got it.
So like for me, I've never been influenced. So what's coming out of me is like true mesh, like a true pot of gumbo, just all of all the music that I'm obsessed with, and me just regurgitating into my own styles and my own tunes that I'm hearing in my head and stuff like that. So like, I think a lot of the reasons why I don't sound so Miami is because I'm not so Miami when it comes to music. You know what I'm saying? I definitely love Miami music, but it's not the most influential part of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm definitely listening to fucking Europe music more than I listen to Miami music.
How's your fan base in Europe? I feel like you the shit over there.
I am the shit over there.
We was talking earlier. Angel was like, I bet they go crazy for him in Europe.
Yeah. I had my biggest following originated in Poland.
Really?
The first EDM record that I had to hit the Billboard charts, it was blown up in Poland. Like that was like where that took off. It was a DJ named Funkwell and Dan D. And they had just asked me for a record. And they have like it was one of those things where I was just getting started in music and people were asking me for things like, and I was just doing them hoping for the best but not really caring because I was like, well, most of this shit ain't really popping off anyways, or sticking. I'm just doing whatever. And one of the verses that I had given to one of the EDM DJs, they took it and ran with it and blew it the fuck up.
Wow.
So that was my first taste of like international success. Where I was like, yo, I see, and like I said, I'm seeing a broad picture, and now it's making even more sense to me because I'm like, yo, I'm doing everything in America, and this little country over here is blowing America out the water. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, the money, the views, the streams, the attention, the conversations were like a lot bigger over there. So it led me to just like take a step back and say, I need to do things on a grander scale.
Global.
I can't limit myself to the U.S. or to Miami for sure.
That's dope.
It wouldn't make sense.
That's some gems for the artists that's so cool with being local, man. It's a big world out
It's a big world. And I think even when I first started in this, the internet and social platforms, they weren't as heavy and as heavily influential as you know, they are now. Like we had to do a lot more things like organically and hustling. Street team. And now it's a little bit easier to reach Japan or Australia. You know what I'm saying? It takes the same amount of effort to reach those places as it does a neighbor. You know what I'm saying? So I think like that's been one of my biggest like thank you for this. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, yo, it's just much easier. I can direct so much more energy and time into like the actual art of it.
That's dope.
Than like the marketing of it.
So talk to me about this New Religion album. Like, first of all, I listened to the first record and the little skit at the end. I'm like, oh, I feel like that, like about religion. Yo, talk to me about that though.
So like, I really hit this point in my life where like, I wanted to like, my family's very religious. I've never let that affect me. I've always just kind of believed in God and left it at that. I recently kind of got into like this whole thing where I started reading the Bible.
Okay.
And like from reading the Bible, I myself started feeling certain things towards the stories and towards what I was reading. And I was kind of like taking bits and pieces of what I loved about it and kind of just remorphing them into life lessons, right? When I started thinking about that piece, I started thinking about how many people are like affected by the actual like category of religion like Christianity, Islam. Like people like feel like they have to follow these guidelines, and if they don't follow them, they're going to hell. You know what I'm saying? Like in that sense. And I felt like I loved so many bits and pieces of different religions. Like I could go on forever on certain aspects that I like from every religion, right? And I felt like anytime I would speak to people about it, they would get upset at the fact that I wasn't one of these religions. I just kind of would just like jump around, right? So like I got to this point where I was like, yo, really in a sense what I've done in my own head is create a new religion. A religion that is like limitless.
Dope.
And my only law is basically like, don't hurt people. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's pretty much it, which I think is like common sense. It's not even like religious. It's just like, yo, just don't fucking do wrong to people. Just be a fucking decent person.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. So New Religion started off as that. And then when I started working on the music, I just kind of felt like I was just at a point where I was like, yo, I felt freed. Like, I felt like nothing could define me because what I believe in my existence is just what I believe in my existence. Like I don't do things because anybody else tells me to or because I feel like it's right. I just know it's right. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's basically the bottom line of New Religion, and the music is always, the album is always a dictation of where I was in that point in life.
Does music feel easy for you?
Very.
It's like you probably one of the few artists that I know is in the studio every day.
What feels hard for me is direction. What feels hard for me is being comfortable with creating something new and letting it out. Like I'm a perfectionist and I'm also very complex. So I create so much music that doesn't get released because a lot of times off experience in history, I feel like people aren't ready to process the music that I'm making.
Wow.
I may be too ahead of my time with certain things. And I'm creating things that people aren't ready for. And sometimes it's cool to kick the door down, but sometimes it's not cool to kick the door down and let somebody else get the credit for it. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I got a lot of artists that like see what I do and try to mimic it without giving me the proper credit.
Right.
And like they're internally grateful that I kicked the door down, but they don't give me my due diligence. They don't give me my respect for what I've done because there's a lot of times that I have created boxes that are a lot larger than they would have thought of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like me being a singer, rapper, producer, ad-libber,
engineer, everything.
Harmonizer, engineer, producer, like all these things. I'm breaking the door down because, like I said, there's nothing I can't do.
Right.
And there's nothing that I'm not doing.
So
like these albums are 99.9% me.
That's what I was going to say. You like you got Russ syndrome, right? You must love Russ.
I still don't think Russ does as much as I do.
I believe that.
You know what I'm saying? Like he definitely has more success at this current moment,
of course.
But I don't think that he's touching me on the things that I'm doing. Like I'm creating the artwork, I'm doing the videos, I'm doing the editing, I'm doing the branding, I'm doing the merch. Yes, sometimes I may have outside help in a sense of like, let me ask you, do you like this one or this one? You know what I'm saying? Like, but for the most part, it's me the one that's designing it,
hands on, everything.
And it's like that's important to me.
That's dope.
I want to get it to the point that I have people that I can trust to just take over most of these things that I'm doing.
Delegate.
But until that point, I'm all right doing what I'm doing.
That's dope.
I'm eating it all.
I struggle with that, finding people and letting, and it's not that I don't trust people. It's like, is it going to be at the level or quality level that I would do it at?
Well, if you've had the issues that I've had with you, you've just had a lot of failures in life. Like I've definitely given the ball to a lot of people that have fumbled it. You know what I'm saying? And like, I feel like that has caused me in turn to have fucking trust issues with people to the fact that I'm like, I can't just hand you my baby and let you drop them.
Right.
You know, like, so for me, it's important to give it to somebody that I know can handle the rock.
That's a good perspective.
And it's like, there's not many people who have. Like we were just talking about you and your partner, like, I feel like the newer people in my life actually have more value than a lot of the older people because they come ready and they know in a sense, I've built such a reputation for myself that a lot of the people that approach me with certain things, they come knowing the kind of person that I am, the level of greatness that I expect, and how hard they have to grind. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm always going to outwork everybody.
100%.
So like people feel like when they come to me, they've been training. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not going to come untrained because they know that I'm going to eat them alive.
That's crazy. That's dope.
So it's a little bit easier to find certain things, but I'm also such I change ideas and energy so much that it's hard to hire one person for the rest of my life because I may love one thing about you and you can't do the other 10 things I want. So I have to like choose certain people for certain things, and that makes it a little more complicated
Tricky.
too. Like I may just like the way you use scissors.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but I may like the way he glues. You know, like so.
Right.
So it's tougher for me to find a team that I can control and have.
So you need a
heavily
hybrid
invested.
like
Yeah.
how you are.
Yeah, because
The hybrids is rare to find. Hear this, Angel? Angels are.
I need that
angels
shirt.
are
The hybrids are hard to
The
find.
hybrids are hard to find. It's really hard.
That's a mouthful.
So when you find it, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's how I felt when I met him. I'm like,
like-
oh my gosh.
it's like finding your
You're a
soulmate.
hybrid. Yeah. And my wife's like, yo, you know, Angels, I know Angels like your new best friend.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you know,
of course. You're like-
yeah, I'm like, yo, he
Who are you
gets me.
talking to?
He gets it.
He sounds hideous.
So like, I've seen Coca-Cola cans. I've seen you got your own sneaker.
Yeah.
I've seen Dashius Clay bobbleheads. Like, from a branding standpoint, you're not leaving no stones unturned.
Nah, man, listen, I was watching a Kiss documentary, and I'm like, yo, I do a lot, but they do a lot. Like, they had Kiss gum, they had, like, Kiss condoms,
Right.
Kiss every, like, I was like, yo, I need to get it to that point to where, like, I just have an entire store of, like, but, like, really my next thing is, I think this year, my final line of merch that I'm releasing this year is going to be high fashion, right?
Dope.
And it's going to be dropping with the Red Baron 3s. But my goal next year is I only want to do collaborative projects. Like, I don't want to do anything by myself next year.
That's dope.
I just want to do, like, work with the best on, like, whatever it is, sneakers or merch or clothes. Like, I want to align myself with companies that I think, like, could take me to the next level and that I could represent them in a great manner as well, too. Like not just take.
Like a
But
Dashius Clay Fendi collab.
imagine that. Or the red
Right?
Fendi. How often you see red Fendi? Hashtag red Fendi.
See that? These brains, when these hybrids link, bro, it's a problem.
Hey, Coca-Cola, stop being cheap.
Coca-Cola, we gonna tag. When this video drops on the comments, please just add and tag.
Everybody always asks me why I don't have a Coca-Cola tattoo, but they got to pay me for that.
100%.
You can't brand me. I'm not a cow.
That's fine. How did you get into? You just always like Coca-Cola?
So the Coca-Cola legend is that I was given Coca-Cola as a baby,
Really?
right? Living in Colombia, Coca-Cola is very influential and very, like, at that time especially, was very big.
Right.
I lived in my aunt's house, who for whatever reason, I still haven't asked her about this. She had a house with a Coca-Cola refrigerator, Coca-Cola oven,
man.
Coca-Cola microwave. Everything was Coca-Cola.
She bought in.
So I was brainwashed.
Wow.
Is really how I look at it.
Wow.
And I wouldn't listen. This it makes me so happy.
it's
It's so stupid.
My wife, until she met me, never drank Coke, right? She never drank soda in general, right? And she's like, man, I just need a refreshing Coke. That's how she talked to me. I need a refreshing. And it's always a refresh. Yeah, I need a refreshing Coke. And so, like, when we go to the restaurants and they say this is Pepsi products.
Oh, I'm leaving. I'm walking out. I'm turning around.
So when she didn't know it's a difference in the taste,
course.
she's like, yeah, that's fine. Like, you can bring me a Pepsi. And she drunk it. And she's like, oh, excuse me, ma'am. I don't know if, like, the filters or the carbonation is off. This is not Coke. She said, oh, man, we do Pepsi products. She's like, well, you tell me that you're not giving me Coke. You tell me you're giving
I
me
hate
something.
that. I can't stand that when people, like, don't tell me, or, like, when you go to, like, the high-end restaurants and they give you, like, that like house Coke.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're like, yo, this ain't. I know what kind of
This
fizz
not
I'm
the
supposed
top
to have.
shelf shit.
This ain't the top. You give me some other shit. Like, and it's funny for me too, because, like, I don't like any other Coke products besides Coke. Like, I don't like Coke Zero.
Right.
I don't like Coke Vanilla Coke.
Right.
Don't give me no cherry Coke.
Just
Keep
Coke.
all that shit away from me. Original classic Coke. And I like it in the can.
Like it in the can. Okay. Well, we got him
Everything.
a Coke shirt and a tumbler that could keep the cold drinks cold and the warm coats. And the warm
That's
coats
so awesome.
warm.
I've actually been talking about a tumbler all
Really?
week. I was like, in my head, I'm like, yo, I need to get a tumbler.
I'm like, yo, I gotta get Dash or something special, man. He's coming. I ain't seen him, and we ain't chopped it up in it's been 6 years, bro.
Yeah.
That's been That was 2016. And I'm like, man, a lot's happened. So talk to me about the studio. Like, I see you at Mix Masters. Do you go home?
I do go home, man. Mix Masters is most people think Mix Masters is my studio. Mix Masters is not my studio.
Really?
I treat it like it's my studio. I'm there like it's my studio.
I didn't know that.
But it's my brother's studio. It's DJ Hayes' studio. DJ
shit.
Hayes is the owner. DJ Hayes and Driz are the owners of that studio.
Wow.
When I had a studio in downtown that long story short had flooded. I had lost everything, equipment, everything.
Wow.
I needed some place to go. A friend of mine took me to Mix Masters, and they had an office for rent, and that's where I was like initially like, yo, give me that office. I had a lot of merch that I was moving like physically. Now I have people to do it, but like at that time I was like printing the merch, folding it, putting the stamps on it, all that. So like I needed a place to do merch from that wasn't home because I was living so far from Miami, and so that's where I started. But then my friendship with Hayes and Driz like just grew to like the level that it is now, which is like we're inseparable.
Yeah.
And I treat that place like it's mine. If you ask any of the employees in there, they could probably call me like the invisible manager just because like I'm there so much, and I'm like I said, man, I treat it like it's mine. But that's definitely home.
Like when I hear that, they like, oh, Dashius studio. I'm like, oh,
because like I said, like I'm just so visible there. You know what I'm saying? But I take that as a compliment too, because I definitely feel like one of the most successful people out of there. So like I take that as like
that's dope.
I'm a great representation of it.
Yeah.
At least I don't make him look bad yet.
Nah, nah, man. I was talking when we had Ferg out here. He's like, man, that's my guy. Dashius. I always put engineer by Dashius.
Yo, he's so funny, and it's funny with him because he loves to. He's the one person I let call me an engineer.
Oh shit!
I hate that fucking term.
Why?
Because it's demeaning to what I do.
Because you do so much.
To me, okay, here. How about this? I want to talk about this because I feel like people don't understand this. At least for me, this is my perspective on it.
All right.
An engineer is somebody that can. An engineer is a person that can achieve the results of what a producer wants. So a producer is usually the person that stands behind an engineer and is like, yo, I need the bass to be a little more.
Right.
I need the kicks to be a little loud. I need the voice to go.
Just facilitating.
And then the engineer's like, I got you.
Just a tool.
Yeah. He's a remote control.
Ah.
And I hate saying that because there's amazing engineers that are way more than just a remote control.
But
for
like
the most
operators. You're not just an operator.
I'm designing your voice. I'm designing your sound. I'm giving you the direction. I'm 99% of the time the person that's deciding on when things are gonna be the way they are in songs.
Right.
Like most of the artists that I work with, they're just giving me vocals. Not to take away from their talent because their talent is still their talent.
Right.
But I'm saying when it comes to that side of production, so like I consider myself a producer. You know what I'm saying? Who can engineer?
Dope.
Like I'm cutting out the middleman.
Right.
And like so, but like it's funny with him because I always have like I don't have an argument with him about it, but I've always like reminded him like don't call me an engineer, man. He's like, yeah, you my engineer, bro, best engineer in the world. And I'm like, he compliments me so extreme that I'm like, I can't get upset about it because I know that he means well.
He does,
but like he doesn't know how much it makes me cringe apparently because I'm like, yeah, and he's like, this is my best engineer, and I'm like, yeah,
that's me.
Hi guys, that's me.
So like. How, like, talk 2020. What's your 2020 like with this? How does this affect you musically or branding, or did COVID affect you at all?
Yes, it did. It caused me to have to completely reinvent the way that I was managing business in a sense of like a big part of why I was having success was because I was everywhere. I can't fucking go nowhere.
Right.
So like, there were a lot of things that I could have done more during COVID that I could have capitalized on that I didn't. And in retrospect, like there was a lot more that I was like, yo, I pussied out in a lot of things that I could have done that were really cool and really could have hit me with some good stuff. Like, but I was happy because I definitely needed some time off. Up to that point, I don't think I had stopped for like 4 years.
Wow.
And it really made me like, it made me get creative.
Okay.
Because I'm like, yo, I have less tools right now. You could only go to the studio like 4 hours a day at a certain point because like they had curfew and all that stuff. Like I was like, we were still sneaking out and shit, but like, yo, it was people weren't as communal as they were prior to that, and every interaction was a lot less.
I got you.
A lot less like intimate.
Yeah.
So it was hard to even work with artists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're like, yo, stand 6 feet away, your mask on.
Yeah.
You don't even know when people are smiling or angry half the time. So it's like, yo, you're just kind of going off intuition. But it was a little bit weird, but like it just made me be more creative, I think.
That's dope.
Yeah, like I had to adapt.
If I had to guess, well, I'm not even gonna guess. I'm gonna see if you know the number.
Mm-hmm.
How many songs in your lifetime would you say you've recorded?
That's a great question. I would say I've recorded easily 1,000 songs.
Wow. 1,000.
I would say 1,000. I would say anywhere between 600 and 1,000.
And out of that 600 and 1,000, how many you put out?
About 150. 100 maybe. No, I'm lying. That's cap. Maybe like that I've released, I think I've released maybe 73 records.
Okay.
Something like that. And then there's a bunch of like freestyles and stuff like that I'm probably not accounting for, but like, yeah, a lot of songs.
The reason I asked that because I know you're a studio junkie, right? So like, how hard is it for you to narrow down records for an album?
Oh, 100% hard. Like I usually go into albums and I'm like, all right, like for the Red album, right? The Red album, we had completed, I think it was 73 records. And I think I only ended up with like 11.
Wow.
So it's like a lot of like plug and play, puzzling, and then hearing
like
back
what
and
fits
forth,
for
and
the
then being like, no,
sonics.
and then you got to go into the business aspect, like what can I clear, what can I not clear?
Right.
All right, and then you kind of, and then once you get to like 20, that's when I start like really shaping the album, and I'm like, all right, now I need to get it down to 12. Which ones really don't matter, and then like what can I add, and then a lot of times. I'm grateful for those moments though, because a lot of songs turn into other songs. Like when I cut certain records out, I'm like, that harmony was beautiful.
It'll turn into something.
You know what I'm saying? Like, well, that verse was fucking sick.
Right?
I'm like, so I don't really have like too much of like a tear about it because I'm like, yo,
it's gonna get used.
My kids are still gonna get used at some other point. Like these are all my creations. Like they're still in my notepad. They're still in my head. They're still.
What's your process like in the studio?
It's never the same.
Really?
Never, ever, ever.
So you don't have no ritual like?
No.
I got 5 candles in this corner and a Coke.
Nope.
With my Coca-Cola pillows.
It could be a conversation. It could be a joke. It could be me walking into the studio and just having 10 people around me. It could be me being upset. It could be me crying. It could be a million things that just lead to a song. Sometimes it's just as simple as me being bored and be like, I'm gonna put on a beat, turn on the mic, and then I just hum my way into a song. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like, so it's never, I very, very, very much don't think that I've done any 2 records alike. Like I've never approached a song. I don't know how to approach a song.
That's dope.
If you would, like I you know what? For the first time in my life, I'm just realizing I don't think I know how to approach a song. I think I just kind of like I go in, and then I make it happen.
What's some advice you could give to an artist that's one like you've had a lot of success. You've got Billboard records. You've got gold records. Like,
my first piece of advice always, and I know that people are probably tired of me saying this, is don't do music. Stay away from the entertainment industry.
Can you say that again?
Stay away from anything that has to do with music, entertainment, acting, all that stuff. Now, that's my first piece of advice. My second piece of advice is if you're saying, fuck you, Dashius, I'm going to do what I want, then okay, just make sure you go in all the way. Like, there's so many people, like, you know what my biggest plight with artists is? There's so much talent. Like, especially in Miami, or especially in the world, period, there's so many people that I sweat that I'm like, yo, you're raw.
Right.
Whatever you do, you're amazing. But people don't take the time to learn the business. And you kill me with that. I'm like, yeah, we could have a magical song together. Yeah, that song is hard. But you don't understand the business. And if you don't understand the business, then you can't really make money. And if you can't really make money, at some point, you're going to get depressed and you're going to go broke and you're going to get a job and you're going to You know what I'm saying? Like it's a snowball of just bad shit that happens if you don't take care of the business, if you don't learn it. If you like, I'm still every day learning. I'm taking a music course right now that like I've slowly been doing, and I'm like, I'm still learning.
Because it's constantly changing. It's constantly changing.
And I'm like, yo, I'm having to adapt. I'm still having to watch different things. I'm still like, and there's a lot of things that I know that I'm hard-headed with, but there's a lot of things that I'm still open to. Like, you know, like, and I feel like if you want to be great in this industry, find yourself, like look in the mirror and be honest with yourself, unless you're gonna do a character. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a different story. But like if you want to be transparent, be transparent. Right. And find, you know, my last piece is find this is so cliche, but I've found myself saying this to people because I think it's true at this point. I'm like, find your red beard. You know what I'm saying? Like find whatever's gonna separate you from everybody else. 100%. So that the moment that people see you, they know what time it is.
Right.
Like I look crazy, so I know that the people that fuck with me, they know that I'm trustworthy because they're like, for you to look like that and be successful, you're doing something right. You know, like so for me, it's like I know I look crazy, but people trust it because I look crazy, and I'm confident with my crazy.
Authentically you. It's authentically you. Oh my God, I'm so glad he said that. That's my first piece of advice to artists. When they say, yo, they come to the studio, I'm like, why the fuck do you want to be in this?
For what?
And they never have the right answer because the answer is that why they want to do it.
All those artists don't know how to do is drop a song. Everybody knows how to record a song, how to get a song mixed, and how to drop a song on Instagram.
That's it.
The moment that Instagram post is done, you got a lot of people twiddling their thumbs like that. They don't know what else to do.
If the record labels don't know what to do with the artists, right? Facts. What you gonna do?
Facts.
That's how I tell them. I'm like, yo, I've been consulting with some record labels, and I'm like, look, the record labels don't know what they're doing, and they got the money. So what are you gonna do to stand out? Like,
yeah, that's why when people ask me, like, oh, would you sign a major deal? I'm like, no, but I'll sign a collab project.
Oh yeah, partnership.
Like I'll partner with a label all day, but I'm not signing to no label.
And that's why I tell artists, I'm like, yo, if the perfect deal was you bring 100,000 and the record label bring 100,000, it wouldn't be that many artists.
Facts.
It's like, I'll be looking at these artists complain about their deals, and I'm like, yo, they put the money up first, though.
Facts.
So I've seen both. I used to be a disgruntled artist.
I think people they're impatient.
Oh, 100%.
Like if you, especially the new artists that feel like they're getting fucked, like you're not really getting fucked, you're just not capitalizing enough.
100%. It's like, yo, when they signed you, they had all the risks.
Like when you like see like all the artists that are like mad at like Jay-Z or like Rick Ross for like you didn't blow me up. It's like, hold on, they blew themselves up. They gave you the platform and the recipe, and you ain't really followed through.
And that's so I've come, the older I've gotten, I understand, because learning the business, I understand the record labels a little bit now. They gotta make money.
Yeah.
So it's like
business, bro.
It's the business aspect.
That's all it is.
Nobody want to learn it.
There's no friendship. It's business.
100%.
And that's what it is.
That's 100%. Where we see Dashius 5 years from now?
Hopefully, still doing music, and I want to be like the creative director for like Timberland, Coke, and like Apple. Right?
Really?
I think that would be dope.
Really?
I gotta spread my wings just outside
creative
of music.
director. I like that. That fits you though. You wear a lot of hats, bro.
It does.
You got graphic design experience.
Yo, I feel like I feel like I could revolutionize at least Timberland.
So I say Angel is like the Dominican version of me. You the Colombian version of me. Like, just like
where what?
3 hybrids in a room, man. That's dope, though. So tell everybody where they can find you.
Probably at Hooters or no, they can find me at Dashius Clay. Everything's Dashius Clay. There's nothing that's complicated. It's at Dashius Clay.
How'd you get that name?
All right, so I had there was a time in school when everybody called me CeeLo.
Okay.
And there was a jersey, like the NFL jerseys when they started coming out with the custom jerseys.
Okay.
Like I couldn't put the dash.
Oh snap.
So like to be obnoxious, I wrote C-Low. Right? So then like everybody started calling me Dash. Wow. So like I lost to CeeLo. I didn't really like that nickname anyway. That was like something my homeboys gave me, right?
Yeah.
And like so everybody started calling me Dash. I was doing an opening, one of my first shows for Rick Ross It was at the arena, like the old arena, and when I got there, they asked me for my name at the front, and I told them Dash, and the lady was like, "Listen, your mother didn't give you a first name without a last name."
Oh,
so
shit.
First and last name.
Shout out to her.
I don't know why or what came over me or what possessed me. I literally just threw it up. I was like, Dashius Clay. I had never even said that before or anything. Like, it wasn't like most people think it's because of Ali or whatever. No, it had nothing to do with anything. I just, and when I said that, her eyes lit up and she was like, I love that name.
Shout out to that lady.
All right, cool, word. So then when I go to get on stage, the guy that was introducing me on stage was like, and the first artist they were bringing to the stage is a young man by the name of, I really like this name, Dashius Clay. And I was like,
Stuck.
2 for 2.
Stuck.
And I just, from that moment forward, was just Dashius Clay. Like,
I'm glad I asked that question.
so like I got stuck with that, and
dope.
as much as I've wanted to even be like, yo, maybe I'll change my name. Like, yo, I have like so many AKAs. Like, some people call me Red, some call me Red Baron, some call me Dash. I'm like, so it's like for me, I'm like,
I always, when I post pictures, old pictures of me and Dash, I'm like, when Baron meets Baron.
yeah, when Baron meets Baron, facts.
Yo, I appreciate you, man.
Thank you
this
for
has
having
been
me, bro.
another gems to the artists. Y'all gonna appreciate this. I appreciate you coming out, man.
I appreciate being here.
Y'all been tuned into another episode of Everyday Game Changers. Dashius Clay. Follow him. Please get in tune with all his brands. Get you
Everything.
a Dashius
Red Baron
bobblehead.
3s are coming out.
Red Baron 3, all of that.
Get the Red Baron 2s, get the Red Baron 1s, get the Red Baron 3s, all the platinum merch that's coming out. If you like creative merchandise, go to make sure you go to dashiusclay.com. If you like good music, go to youtube.com/DashiusClay. If you like good times, go to my OnlyFans. No, I was kidding. Go to Dashius Clay on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. Like, just make it happen, man. Listen, I don't do this for myself. I do this for y'all. So enjoy it. We only here to live one life and enjoy the most out of it. So
appreciate you,
I'm not
bro.
gonna waste nobody's time.
We out.
Be platinum.